permanent witness.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chishimba Mwewa from the Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair, and welcome, Gwembe. I'm Kenneth Kazinga, permanent witness from the Ministry of Local Government. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mumbasaka from Ministry of Finance and National Planning. Thank you.
I'm Moses Chuva from the Office of the Clerk. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Gwembe Town Council, I will now invite you to introduce yourself and please attach the period of being at Gwembe Town Council. Thank you. Please proceed.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Honorables. My name is Engineer Maliwa Muchu. I'm the Council Secretary for Gwembe Town Council. I've been with Gwembe from June last year up to now. Thank you.
Next.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, so my name is Alan Walia. I'm the Council Treasurer for Gwembe. Well, I've been with the Council since March of 2020, so I've been over 2 years now with the Council. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mulemba Given. I've been with the Council for 5 years plus. Internal auditor. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. My name is Stanislaus Hamatanga, the District Planning Officer. I've been at Gwembe Town Council from 3rd March 2020.
Thank you very much, witness. My name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency and the chairperson for the Committee on Local Government Accounts. Witness, you are welcome. This is your committee and you are appearing as a witness and not the accused one. Witness, members of Parliament under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia enjoy the immunity that whatever they say in the House can never be brought against them. And this is extended to you when you appear before any parliamentary committee. The immunity is extended to you that whatever you say during our deliberations can never be used against you in any courts of law. However, if you choose to mislead this committee, misinform this committee, the same can be used against you. But I have no doubt in my mind that we will take that route and that you are going to give us the information that we are looking for as a committee, the information that will help us to generate a very good report to submit then to the House. With that, having said that, I'll now invite you, Council Secretary, to speak to your document by making a submission to this committee. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. With your indulgence, Chair, maybe could I be going to causes, action taken and remedial measures?
Please, as guided.
Thank you. So I'll start with the budget and income. I go to local taxes, which is on page 3. Cause of the query. The main cause for the under-collection was owing to the expired variation law. Action taken. The Council had instituted the process of updating the variation law, which was expected to be awarded by the 28th of February 2023. Just before we came, we tried to find out from Ministry of Local Government why this has not been done, but they promised that by next week it should be out. Remedial measure, the Council will ensure making budgetary provision for property rates under the local taxes, which are based on the valid valuation law or where there is assurance of an award. The Council will also endeavor to ensure the timely updating of the valuation law. As we know, it only lasts for about 5 years. Okay, we go to the fees and charges, the cause of query. The Council had under-collected fees and charges owing to the following reasons. 1, transport. The Council had acute challenges of transport for revenue collection programs. 2, inaccessible areas of the district due to very bad roads such as Sumulirika and Kotakota, among others. The poor road network is a major challenge for revenue collection programs. 3, the COVID-19 pandemic had an effect on some of the business houses as they had either closed down and had relatively no business at all. Action taken. The Council had provided resources to procure the vehicle dedicated for revenue programs, which is now in place. The picture below refers to the revenue vehicle that we are talking about. The Council has also repaired 3 motorbikes, which are also used for revenue programs, especially in far-flung areas. The picture below shows some of those motorbikes. The council has also contracted revenue agents from the ward development committees who are mainly domiciled in the respective wards. Gwembe has about 16 wards. This has been with a reason to tap revenue in the areas which are far-reaching from where we are at the civic center. The subsequent budget for 2022 has been adjusted downwards by about 1.1 in 2021 to 519,000 in 2022 and 665 in 2023, according to the collectible revenue under the fees and charges. Appendix 1 and 2 refers to the caption of the 2022 and 2023 budget. Remedial measure: the council will always endeavor to ensure that the revenue vehicle bought is dedicated specifically for revenue activities. The council will also be updating its revenue database of the districts to ensure that the areas that have potential, that is revenue, are immediately included in the database and attain necessary revenue agents. Cause of query, that's licenses. The council recorded an adverse variance in the licenses owing to the following reasons: transport, which is the same as we spoke about before. Then also there was an issue of the impact of the COVID-19. Then also in accessible roads. Then when we go to the action taken, the council has put in place revenue agents to meet the revenue collection needs for the far-fetching places and in places that have very bad roads. The council has procured earth-moving equipment from the 2022 CDF dedicated specifically to work on our roads. Because if you come to Gwembe, you'll find that the biggest challenge that we have is accessibility. So the entire 2022 CDF was allocated to buy about 8 pieces of equipment. The council has now a revenue vehicle, which I think we showed some pictures, which is used specifically for revenue collection. Remedial measure: the council will always endeavor that the same vehicle is dedicated to revenue collection. The council will also be updating its revenue database of the district to ensure that we have all the potential areas for collection are immediately captured in the database. On levies, the cause of query: the council acknowledges the under-collection of the levies. The under-collection was mainly attributed to the following: the fish ban that was imposed in the year 2021 adversely affected the collection of fish levy, which is one of the main reliable sources of income for the council. The council could not conduct water transport as the boat that is supposed to use was down, which otherwise could have enhanced the revenue collection from the waters of the Lake Kariba in respect to the carpenter and fish levy. The council could also not maximize in revenue collection in respect to livestock levy because of the ban that was imposed on movement of animals, which mainly included pigs and cattle. This also affected adversely the planned revenue from being realized. The council had also made a provision of collecting rig levy under fees and charges, which unfortunately was not actualized in the year under review because more sensitization programs needed to be made. Action taken: the council has since repaired the boat, and the revenue section is currently undertaking revenue programs aligned to fish and carpenter levy. The council has engaged the ward development committees who have been tasked to collect levies as in far places on a commission basis. We are giving them approximately, I think, a 10% commission. The council now has a dedicated vehicle in place, which has now made it easy for our revenue collectors to move and collect the revenue. Remedial measure: the council has instituted a revenue collection task force, which is composed of all members from each department and has been mandated to provide an oversight on all the revenue programs the council has and to add value in terms of revenue initiatives. When we go to permits, the cause of query: the council had undercollected on permits owing to the following reasons: transport, inaccessible areas, COVID-19 pandemic, Then the action taken by the council. The council now has a revenue vehicle. The council also has repaired the 3 motorbikes. The council has also contracted revenue agents from the ward development committees. The council has also introduced a rig permit, which will boost the revenue under the permit. Remedial measures. The council will always endeavor to ensure that the revenue vehicle boat is dedicated specifically for revenue activities. The council will also be updating its revenue database so as to ensure that what has been budgeted is what we are collecting. Commercial ventures, cause of query. The council acknowledges the under-collection of the revenue under commercial venture. This was mainly owing to the breakdown of the commercial bus for a longer period in the year, which mainly attributed to the bad road network that we have. This had a big blow on the failure to realize the revenue under this budget line. The impact of COVID-19 had also slowed the business activities from the council guest house, which are located at the central business district, that is in Munyumbwe, and also at Chipepo Harbor. Action taken. The council had at year-end managed to repair the bus, which became operational in the first quarter of 2022. Remedial actions or remedial measures. The council, through the council mechanic under the works department, has drawn up a deliberate policy of making weekly mechanical reviews on the commercial bus and also other vehicles so that potential mechanical problems are identified on time and worked on. The council has also expanded the commercial business by opening up 5 more chalets at the Chipepo Harbor to enhance the revenue under commercial budget lines. Other receipts, cause of query. The council had made a provision of 23,000 kwacha for other receipts and only collected 12,210. The main cause of the variance is mainly because of the low production of the cotton in the year under review. Action taken. The council has made realistic budget adjusted for the subsequent years, taking 2021 as the base year. Remedial measure. The council will ensure through the budget team that budgets are formulated and aligned to the subsequent revenue collection ratings under the other income. Local Government Equalization Fund, cause of query. This was mainly due to the deductions at source that were made through Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, which are LASIF and union fees. These normally create a disparity between the budgeted and the actual amounts received. Action taken. The council has continued to receive advice from the ministry of the deductions made from source thereof. Remedial measures. The council seeks indulgence through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to increase on the equalization fund at least by the annual variance, which will help the council to also meet other obligations. Other grants, cause of query. Other grants specifically involve grants in lieu of rates. The council normally receives grants in lieu of rates twice in a year, amounting to 200,000 kwacha in total. However, during the year under review, the council received amounts totaling to 100,000 kwacha, causing the variance. Action taken. The council seeks indulgence of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to actualize the funding of grants in lieu of rates twice in the year, as it were, so that the council can meet the needs of the budget under grants in lieu of rates. Remedial measures. The council will seek to actualize the budget according to funds received under the grants in lieu of rates. Operational matters, cause of query. Management acknowledges the audit finding of operating Shiluzi dump site without approval from ZEMA, as it was a temporary site since the council was looking for a permanent site. As for the fencing of the dump site, the council could not fence it owing to the limited resources in the year. Action taken. The matter was presented to the council under minute number PWD-REC 79/07/22 for formalization of the dump site. and the letter written to the chief requesting for land. Copy of the signed minutes and letter are attached as Appendix 3. And there is a picture also showing the dump site. Remedial measure. Going forward, the council will engage relevant authorities such as ZEMA to seek approval before designating areas as a dump site. The council will also be engaging traditional leadership in the district requesting for land for future dump sites. The council will also commit to improve on its revenue and make budgetary provisions to have a dump site fenced. Okay. Accounting for revenue, failure to collect must levy. Cause of query. The council acknowledges the audit findings of failure to collect mass levy. The council had been consistently following up with the company, that's Africa Mobile Networks, over the need to pay for the mass levy in the year 2021. However, the response the council was getting was that the company had been facing so many financial difficulties and that would not allow the lump sum payment, but to pay in piecemeal funds allowing. This caused a delay in receiving the funds in full. Action taken. The company finally managed to pay the whole balance of 50,000 in arrears on 31st December 2022. A copy of the ledger and the bank statement showing the transfer of funds from Africa Mobile Network are as depicted under Appendix 4 and 5. Remedial measures. The council has adopted the policy of issuing the must levy invoices in the last quarter of the preceding year to allow the companies prepare and plan well in advance for the coming year in respect of mass levies and others. Where we are now, we have already collected this money for this year. The council will also seek to use the services of the bailiffs where applicable to collect the outstanding levies. Management of payroll and other staff-related matters. Cause of query. The council management wishes to report that the vacant positions were caused by the following. That is, failure to fill the vacant positions was due to the fact that management has no mandate to employ and deploy, as this is vested in the Local Government Service Commission. Action taken. The Local Government Service Commission was communicated to. The position of Water and Sanitation Coordinator was included in the vacant report for the year 2022, and the position was advertised by the Local Government Service Commission and was later filled on the 14th of November 2022, Appendix 6 refers. The position of Building Inspector was included in the vacant report for the year 2022, and the position was also advertised by the Local Government Service Commission. The council is still awaiting the commission to send an officer to fill this vacant position. Appendix 7, there is an advert there. And also the vacancy report as under Appendix 8. Remedial measures. The council will continue to engage the Local Government Service Commission to ensure that the vacant positions are filled. Procurement of goods and services. Failure to avail payment vouchers. Cause of query. Management acknowledges and regrets the audit finding of failure to avail 17 payment vouchers for audit. This was because at the time of the audit, the said vouchers were separately kept in a folder in preparation for the audit. When the audit started, the folder erroneously was not available to the auditors for auditing. Action taken. All the 17 vouchers have been traced and are ready for verification. Remedial measures. The council has tasked an officer, that's an accounts clerk, dedicated to ensure that daily council transactions are filed according to the respective payment, that's expenditure files, and in an orderly and sequential manner. The council is also making use of inbuilt lockable filing cabinets in account section, which will secure the accountable documents like payment vouchers. The council has now transitioned from the manual generation of payment vouchers to a system-generated payment vouchers. The accounting package allows the entire payment process to be processed through the system, hence backing up the transactions as it generates the payment vouchers. This will also allow for easy trail of the payment vouchers on a daily basis. failure to utilize Gramosi accounting package. Cause of query, the package that was used on the computer was not compatible. Action taken, the computer has now been updated and the package is currently being used by the council. The payment was made for the technical support as attached under Appendix 9. Remedial measures. The council will continue to engage suppliers of goods and services for good service delivery to the council. That includes better after-sales service. Management of stores. Unaccounted for general stores. Cause of query, management acknowledges and regrets the audit findings of unaccounted for general stores. This was caused by the unavailability of the stores officer who at the time of the audit was at school attending to his residential school. Coincidentally, the verification being done on a weekend, which was a Saturday, the person that was delegated to briefly manage the stores had traveled to attend to a bereavement that had befallen him. This made it difficult to provide all the necessary documents needed for the verification, which otherwise were available, and to attend to the possible clarifications needed thereof. Action taken, the documents under general stores cited are all available and ready for verification by Auditor General. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that the controls are adhered to as regards to proper communication and handovers that will ensure that there is no disruption to the system and information flow in an event that one officer is not available. Management of assets, lack of title deeds. Cause of query, management acknowledges the audit finding of lack of title deeds. The cause is mainly owing to the longevity of the process it takes to acquire the title deeds, which was already started at the time of the audit. Action taken, the council has submitted to Ministry of Lands recommendations for offer, numbering of the council properties and also numbering of the council properties in an effort to obtain title deeds for all council properties. The council has so far received some of the invitation to treat for some selected properties. The layout of other properties which need numbering have been submitted also to Ministry of Lands. Appendix 10 refers. Remedial measures. Management through associations such as the SOLAS, which is Society of Local Government Chief Executives, and also ILGAS, which is Local Government Association of Zambia, will ensure it makes submissions recommending to Ministry of Lands to expedite the process of titling properties. Because this query is not just for Gwembe, it has been in most of the councils. No wonder the involvement of all these associations to help us. Failure to claim insurance premiums. Cause of query, management acknowledges the audit finding of failure to claim insurance on the vehicle that was involved in a car accident. This was because the insurance company demanded an insurance premium of at least 75,000 against the old insurance cover of 95,477. The payment that the council made was 80,000 on the 4th of August 2022 to ZISC, which payment was verified by the Office of the Auditor General. The insurance company, however, terminated the insurance agreement owing to the historical debt owed to the company, which was amounting to about 96,000 kwacha. Action taken, the amount of 80,000 was paid to the insurance and the vehicle has since been worked on. The two pictures below, that's picture 1 and 2, depicts the current state of the vehicle, and this is the vehicle that we have come with here. You can refer to Appendix 12 for the payment of 80,000 kwacha. Remedial measure, the council will endeavor to place priority on insurance cover payments so that it is current. This will enable insurance claims to be processed without any hold-up as a result of unpaid premium. Management of local government equalization funds. Cause of query, management acknowledges the audit finding of failure to reimburse borrowed funds. This was attributed to the lack of funds when the councillors' orientation workshop was called up in Livingstone following the general elections that saw most new civic leaders come to join us at the council. This being an inescapable expense or inescapable national core, the council had to borrow some funds to enable the councillors attend the workshop. Action taken. The council, beginning the year 2023, has provided to reimburse all the borrowed funds to the capital account. It has come up with a payment plan with a commitment of a minimum of 20,000 kwacha per month. The first payment was made on 12th January 2023, amounting to 20,000, while the second payment was made on the 7th of March 2023, leaving a ledger balance of about 91,720. This can be seen under Appendix 13, where the ledger and the payment, the proof of payments are attached. Remedial measure, the council will continue to liquidate the debt as per plan. Construction of a bar at Pepo Guest House. Cause of query, the project stalled as at that time inspections were being conducted by the Auditor General's office because of the key equipment, that is the tipper and front end loader, which were meant to ferry building materials, had broken down as the project was labor based. Action taken, the equipment was worked on, materials procured, ferried to site, and the superstructure blocks are almost done in preparation for the roof structure. The two pictures, that's picture 3 and 4, they depict the current status of the structure, and maybe it suffices to mention that the structure was redesigned and it's almost twice the size of what the auditors found. Remedial measure, the council will endeavor to ensure that the materials are advanced in time to site for the labor-based contract. The council will also make sure that the equipment is serviced according to the formulated vehicle maintenance policy so that there are no disruptions in respect of the transportation of materials when needed. Management of liabilities. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the audit finding of failure to pay statutory contributions. The main attribute was as a result of the wage bill deficit, which was at an average of 108. That's in negatives. So we had a deficit of 108,000 kwacha. Management is engaging statutory bodies in going into payment plans that will eventually see the liquidation of the debt, which is mostly historical. Action taken. Council has committed to be allocating at least funds amounting to 15,000 kwacha monthly in its 2023 budget, dedicated towards liquidating the staff debt. Appendix 14 refers to the debt liquidation plan that is attached. Remedial measures. Council has been in the quest to increase its revenue base so as to match its monthly obligatory tasks. Okay. Failure to settle staff obligations. Cause of query. The council acknowledges the audit findings of failure to settle staff obligations. This is mostly historical, which was as a result of low revenue base at the time. Action taken. The council has committed to be allocating at least funds amounting to 36,000 kwacha monthly in its 2023 budget dedicated towards the liquidation of staff debt. Appendix 14 refers to the debt liquidation plan. Remedial measure. The council has been in the quest to increase its revenue base so as to match its operational and administrative matters through various revenue enhancement programs. I thank you, Chair. This ends my report.
Thank you very much, Council Secretary. Honorable members, points of clarifications, questions? Honorable Sumumba.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'll take you to page 2, local taxes.
Page 2.
Yes, where you budgeted for 326, 922, you raised only 56, 545. And according to your reason, you are saying the main cause for the undercollection was owing to the expired valuation law. I wanted to find out, Chair, when they were budgeting, didn't they see this component as one of the effects that is going to disadvantage them when they were budgeting? Why didn't they ignore this component of the valuation law to be expired? That's my question. Also, the second one is on other receipts. I wanted to know what activities were on the other receipts, because they are budgeted for 23,000, but they only raised 12,000. Those are two questions, Chair.
Okay, Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable, for the question. Yeah, you are right. Under the local taxes, we did budget for 326, but only managed to correct 56,545. The challenge that has been there is that the valuation law expired in 2017. Once it expired, I think the ministry was informed, and they gave us a letter, at least just to help us to collect on the old valuation law, which we saw that it's better we ensure that we update this valuation law. As we are seated today, this valuation law has been updated. I think what we are just waiting for is the award, which is starting from this year for the next 5 years.
The question, yes, Secretary, was why did you include something that was not read at that time? Because now you are giving a wrong impression. Because if it's read now, it wasn't read then. But what the people, your people in Gwembe know is that you have that budget and you have that money. So the ambitious kind of budgeting, that's what the question. Because we know for sure that at the end of the day we'll get back to Gwembe, but you can't say we are in Gwembe before we reach Gwembe. Okay. So,
Chair, to add on, which did you base on? Did you base on the old valuation law, or you based on the new valuation law on the local taxes?
Secretary.
Thank you. We based it on the old valuation law,
okay,
of which we had the backing from the ministry allowing us to use it, since it had already expired.
Thank you, Chair. Now, why have you given a reason? Like the reason why you undercorrected is because of the expired valuation law. If you based your budgeting on the old one, I submit.
Council Secretary.
Okay. The expired valuation law, Chair, we had our own challenges to collect the money. Looking at the poundage that was used, the community thought this was too much. So they needed us to revise it downwards. So the new valuation law that we are putting up, the poundages have gone down and they are affordable for our community. So previously we had the big challenge, Chair, because people were saying this is too expensive. It was even more expensive than Lusaka. Because if you talk about the residential, just a poundage for the residential was about almost, that was about 2%, which was too much for our community. So as we did this new valuation law, Chair, we had some objections and we've come to realistic poundages that has made this valuation law to be accepted.
Thank you. Honorable Kapampi.
Thank you so much, Chair. On the issue of income and taxes, or I mean the budget and income, Chair, the council was pretty aware to say there were areas which were in the far-flung areas, but yet again, they never went ahead to fix the bikes on time and secure a motor vehicle. Only procure it after a budget query. Why didn't they prepare in advance, knowing that they were supposed to collect the taxes even from far-flung areas? I submit, Chair.
Secretary.
Okay. Thank you for that observation. What happened is that if you look at the correction rate previously, it was almost 56% for the council. So the issues of funds was a very big problem. But this time now what we have done as management is that we have said that for as long as we don't collect the money, there's now no service that we are going to provide. So let's find ways in which we can enhance this revenue that is surrounding our areas. So this is where we are. This time at least We've made sure the boat is back on the waters. These motorbikes are back. There's even a vehicle dedicated specifically for revenue collection. And we think this is the right way to go.
Yes or no?
Chair, the council secretary has to help this committee so that we can get the information. I had asked the question that to me he hasn't answered. When you look at the local taxes, they budgeted using the old valuation law. We want to the secretariat to get the information so that they can write a report. You based your budgeting on the old valuation law. Now, the reason you are giving as to why you undercollected, you are owing to the expired again. We need to get something here, Chair. If they based on the old, which means the valuation law never affected anything at that particular time. So why was the undercollection? That's my question. Because unless they used the new valuation law and then they underperformed, they could said, we underperformed because we used the new valuation law. Now, they used the old one, and again they underperformed. And the reason they're giving is because the valuation law expired. Chair, I would want clarity on this one. I submit.
I think based on his area explanation, the information that is on the document here is not correct. Because he alluded to the fact that it was so expensive, the poundage on that. And that was the reason, other than the expiring of this document. So, Council Secretary, I think the reason that you orally gave to us, that's what would suffice, other than the what is on the document.
Thank you, Chair. That's correct, Chair.
All right, honorable members, let's move. Another question? Okay, I saw something. Which page is that? 17 payments without payment vouchers. That's on page what? All right. Yes, sir.
On page, it should be 10.
Page 10.
Yeah, page 10. On it's actually starting from page 9. Operational matters, environmental management. Council Secretary, I heard you in your presentation to say that next time you will never designate a dump site without authority. The question is, when did the council realize that you needed the authority before designating a place as a dump site? Are you learning now after the auditors, or you knew that the law does not allow you to designate or to come up with a dump site without authority, or we getting all the regulations without following regulations? Thank you.
Council Secretary?
Thank you, Chair. To say we didn't know, I think we would be lying. We knew about the regulations. It's just unfortunate that the way Gwembe is that most of our land is traditional land. We didn't have an area which we could designate as a dump site until we had to go into arrangement with Chief Munyombwe to give us this area, saying, please give us an area so that it can be converted, we even get title for it. So it was a bit difficult for us as a council to invest even the issue of the wall fence, or even just a wire fence, just to protect something which was not legally ours.
Yeah, but the other question, just on the same, we look at the period in which you had, I mean, maybe you have been using that dump site as a temporal, on temporal basis. How long have you been using it on temporal basis? And this dump site, is it in Munyumbwe or is it in Gwembe?
I'll ask my DPO just to help me with the actual date.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. So the location of this dump site is called Chiruzi. It's in Munyombwe, under the traditional authority of Chief Munyombwe.
Oh, I see. And for how long have you been using it?
Okay, so for how long we've been using it, we don't have that information, but we have the letter which we wrote on 18th July to request for official handover to the council so that process of acquiring title can begin.
10 July which year?
2022.
2022, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, another question, sir.
The other question is...
Your mic.
The other question is accounting for revenue failure to collect must levy. And I've
That's
seen...
on page what?
It's on page 11, Chair.
Page 11.
Yeah. I was wondering why the council failed to collect these predictable sources of revenue. And the entire 2021 from January to December, you failed to collect 50,000 kwacha. The question is, although you have indicated and have put an appendix to confirm that you received the 50,000 kwacha, the question is, how are your contracts with these outdoor advertisers or whichever companies come to do? Do you do contracts? I mean, do you do agreements or contracts that are binding, that when they default, these are the consequences or these are the sanctions? Why I say so, Chair, if you look at page 12, they have indicated to say the African mobile networks, they say, however, the response the council was getting was that the company had been facing financial difficulties that would not allow for the lump sum payment, but to pay in piecemeals, funds allowing. Now, is this embedded in your contract? And if this is not in your contracts, to collect this money which you had planned for the services of 2021, and they would start dictating to you and paying only in December 2022 after the year under review and after the auditors have passed through. How safe is the council if you can allow people who do business and dictate to you at their own conditions? Thank you, Chair.
Council Secretary.
Okay, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable, for those observations. The current situation at the moment is different. As we are seated here, this is just March. We've already collected about 75% of this money because of the new strategy that we have put in place. Just some few weeks ago, I think the treasurer was sent here in Lusaka to follow up these people. But we've been having challenges with them before. And I think maybe what you have said, the issue of the contract, I think that's what we are supposed to do. Currently, I think we just know the number of masks that they have, and this is what we always budget for. I think the issue of just drafting a contract and ensuring that terms and conditions are clear will really help us as a council. I think we'll move that way, Honorable. Thank you.
Another question?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take you to page 13, failure to avail payment vouchers. Chair, the management acknowledges and regrets the audit finding of failure to avail 17 payment vouchers for audit. This was because at the time of audit, the said payment vouchers were separately kept in a folder in preparation for audit. When the audit started, Chair, the folder was not available at that time. And they're saying all the 17 payment vouchers have been traced and are ready for verification. I would want first to see these 17 payment vouchers, if they're available, and how authentic are they? I submit, Chair.
Yeah, maybe in addition, you did well, Honorable Simumba, to read this, because I was going to ask the Council Secretary to read it as well. Because when you pick up these, that this particular file was kept alone, separately. And why did you keep it separately? It was in preparation for audits. Yeah. And when they come, erroneously, it's not there. Others are there. Other documents were there, and this one is not there. Maybe you can shed more light.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Maybe even before I go into details, I just wanted to give a situation of our council the way it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Most of our purchases are done from Monze. So you'll find that when our procurement officers have gone to even make a payment, down there on the payment voucher, there's somewhere where it's written received by. So they would go with these payment vouchers so that the contractor or the supplier signs there when they've received the check. So you'd find that these payment vouchers, which are accountable documents, which are supposed to be under the treasurer, the procurement sometimes will keep them in their offices. So you find that they'll be misfiling. And this is what was happening most of the times. So you find that when the auditors came, the 17 were not there. We had to start looking for these 17 vouchers when they left. The time that they came back for a verification, we had kept these 17. And unfortunately, I was not around. I was handing over in Choma where I was. And the treasurer also was not at the office. So the junior person who was there, unfortunately, they couldn't find that folder which had the payment vouchers. The 17, otherwise, were kept separate. So, no, as the auditors come, these are supposed to be verified by the auditors. We called, I think, the auditors who came, but I was told that, no, this is late. We've already left the office.
Yeah, because those accountable documents, like you're putting it, immediately they come from wherever, somebody to acknowledge receipt of that check. They're supposed to be brought where they're supposed to be, isn't it? We have the internal auditor here, isn't it?
Yes.
Internal auditor. Those documents, what was your comment after reading the report?
The document, as the CSL submitted, yes, they are there, but they were in a different folder, which we couldn't see them by then by the auditors when they came to the office.
So what happened to the officer? Council Secretary, can switch off your. What did you do to the person that kept that folder that you are looking for?
Unfortunately, we couldn't even find. They were just found in the office of the treasurer. It's like somebody just brought that for one of the junior officers, but unfortunately, we couldn't find who.
All right. Okay. Yes.
You say that these particular payment vouchers are most good. You suspect or you feel that they were meant, they were payments towards procurement, which was done in Monze.
Yeah.
Would you show this committee, since you have them now, so that all these 17 are talking about procurement that is done in Monze, and no any other transaction that is not related to procurement? And now you have them for this committee to confirm that these payment vouchers are for the same reason.
Okay.
And the other thing that I wanted, chairs, the other issue is that procurement officers are officers who are qualified and understand about accountable documents. Like any other officer, whether you are clerical, you should be trained and you understand that these accountable documents are important and they're supposed to be kept for a period, is it 10 years? And immediately you use it, it's supposed to be retained. What a coincidence that the person who was keeping them had gone for a funeral, another person handed over, was not able to give these auditors. Thirdly, was the audit for a day, that immediately they just finished, these vouchers were not there, or it took some time that someone could have made an effort to show the auditors. Thank you, Chair.
Council
The
Secretary?
verification was just for a day. It was on Saturday.
Okay, thank
The
you.
verification was just for a day. Then maybe just also through the chair. When I said about Monze, I didn't mean that all the 15 is about Monze. I was just giving a general picture of how Gwembe operates. Most of our transactions to do with the supply are coming from Monze. We don't have shops where we can buy even just the stationery. There is very expensive. We have to go to Monze. It's cheaper that way.
Would you kindly show us those
Oh,
those
the
vouchers?
auditor has them.
Another question, what is the name? Another question, members. What is, Council Secretary, what is the director, I mean, is it Director?
Works.
Yes.
Oh, our director works is in Siavonga, was transferred to Siavonga. So we do have just the deputy director who's sitting in for now.
And you didn't come with him?
No, we didn't.
Because we wanted to hear about the culverts, what you are doing and all those things.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
It's on page 14, Chair. Page 14, failure to utilize Gramosi accounting package. You gave the reasons for not using Gramosi because it was outdated, is it? As if it was not compatible.
Compatible with the computer, yes.
Now, you have since started using it.
Yes.
What has happened for it to suddenly the entire year you couldn't use it? After auditors, now it has become compatible. What has happened now that which you could not deal with in the year under review? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable. If you can just see what we've written, you said we paid about 5,000 for technical support. These are the suppliers of the software. They had to come, checked it, and found out where the problem was. And they did, in fact, as we are talking, they did a training for all our account officers. Previously, you would find that they are trained, people are transferred, and there's no one who even knows the system. But this time where we are seated here, all the accounts officers have been retrained to use this system. And it's the same system that we are using now to do the system payment vouchers. We even have a backup of all the payment vouchers that we've done so far.
Chair, on page 15, management of stores unaccounted for general stores. Contrary to regulation, there were no receipts and disposal details in respect of stores items costing 226,133. This is a very big amount, Chair, whether it's 5 kwacha, but this is 226,000. Involving 49 transactions procured during the period under review. How possible you can be procuring without an officer to take record? Because this officer had gone for residentials. Why didn't they cancel before one goes into school, especially for this important office? Someone gets permission. As one was applying for permission for study leave, you couldn't put in measures to replace that person before he could leave, that you lost, or you couldn't account for 226,000 kwacha, 133. At the time of audit, this had been lost. If I can use the word lost, or unaccounted for, which makes, why didn't the management chairperson fill this important position prior to authorizing that person to go for study and failing to account for over 200,000 kwacha for a small council like Gwembe? Thank you.
The same chair. Thank you very much. I wanted also to find out if the VED officer had to hand over the documents to the supervisor. before he could leave. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Maybe on that one, I'll just ask indulgence of the Treasurer just to assist. Thank you, Chair, and good observation made there. This of course doesn't please us as well. I think this case is almost a little bit similar to the issue we've just discussed on the missing payment vouchers. You may realize, House, that this was the final verification that the Office of the Auditor General was making following the pre-verification exercises. And like mentioned, unfortunately, this had fallen on a Saturday because they also had a crushed program. But of course, they had informed us well in advance of their coming, like they always do. So these, like we have reported in our reports, it is just a very, very unfortunate situation that had befallen us on that weekend because of the numbers of the people. Handover, yes, there was when the stores officer went to school, he basically handed over to one officer who usually comes in, and apparently, you know, the unforeseen circumstances where he surely had a bereavement and had to travel, and unfortunately he couldn't see anyone that he could hand over. Unfortunately, again, that is when the auditors also came in. So what is alarming here, look at the amount. These are the documents in totality that were not looked at by that the council had not submitted to the office of for the whole year. This was actually their main finding for the whole year of 2021. But of which records, unfortunately enough, rather, were there. So it was just a question of saying, okay, external auditors, here are the documents, and which action was not there because of such an unfortunate situation. Otherwise, it doesn't please the situation at all. The documents are already available here for scrutiny for the auditors.
Chair, I get worried. There are two important things. Do you take audit seriously? And I need a serious answer. Why have asked so, Chair? There are documents available, but during audit, they couldn't be availed. You have stated in your meeting that you were given enough notification that on particular Saturday, we shall be coming to do audit verification. And prior information was given, you couldn't do that. Why are you taking the audit serious? Second, you have stated, Treasurer, that the first person went to school for study. He handed over to another person who had a bereavement. For the entire audit process, this person had gone for a funeral. That during the audit, not the verification, but the audit period, this person had gone for a funeral. How true is it that the audit takes a day or two, or the period of the audit was shorter, that this person could not come back? Then you have raised a very serious issue, that the person who went for a funeral could not find any suitable person to hand over to. Is it an individual who does that? Is a supervising officer who sees that there is a gap, and this gap can be filled by Honorable Kolala? Or is an individual in the office who decides, I've not seen any person suitable to hand over stores, then I'm going for a funeral? Is that the way the council is being run in Gwembe? Those are my questions, John.
Thank you so much. It's very worrisome to receive such questions from people who are entrusted to handle the affairs of the local authority. Could it be lack of seriousness or laissez-faire? I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on that one, I think we unreservedly just apologize. I don't think that's the right way to manage a council. I think where we are now, things are totally different. Yeah, we have everything is in place.
Okay. Internal auditor, okay. We have a question. Internal auditor, please don't put the file away. I still want to ask you something. Yes. Honorable Katuta and then Honorable Simumba.
Thank you, Chair.
Kolala.
I just want to find out, does the Auditor General come as a hijacker? You're not aware that auditors would visit you? They just come hijacking your time without you knowing that the auditors are coming.
Thank you.
Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe let me just give a history of Gwembe. If you, I think Auditor General is here, you find that it's one of those councils that never used to be audited. It had to take, I think, one of my predecessors to write and say, no, we need you to come to Gwembe. So the way the audits are being done, it's like my people there, most of the old people, they were not used to such. But currently, at least we are happy that every year the Auditor General now goes there, even coming now. That's a plus to us. And we can assure the House that we are improving. Next time, I think maybe we might not even appear here. Because we at least have learned from what the Auditor General has been pointing out to us. Thank you.
Maybe I didn't just get you. My question is, because you're saying now you're happy that you're seeing the auditors coming. My question was, were you hijacked by the auditors, or does the Auditor General hijack? You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, I do.
Or where they just come promptly, without, abruptly, without even informing you that they'll be coming, so that you're able to put your books in order.
Okay. They don't hijack.
They don't come just without informing
They
you.
do write to us.
So
they
you
give
couldn't
us enough
put
time.
your documents in order, especially where I was really, I didn't want to say a word. I can't believe that if somebody is not in the office, the document should also go with the person. I don't think it should be like that. There should be always someone who should be an assistant or someone. That's a public office, and no one can hold on to the documents. If the chair here is going to attend another committee, we cannot say we're not having a meeting. If I'm not here as a vice chair, we're not going to say I'm not having a meeting. They'll still have to have some people to sit there and chair. So how was it possible that somebody had a funeral and you couldn't have the document? Chair, I'm really wondering if we are being given the right information. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Kolala.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
As we wind up,
It's unfortunate that you find that when it comes to missing documents, it's something to do with money. Missing documents is something to do with money. Now, when you look at the reasons here, funeral, and I'm sure Auditor General was not just there for 2 days or 3 days. It was more days. And when you look at just this response, we were even told to say they were even requested for the Auditor General to go there, meaning they even knew they were coming. So this person went with the documents, and the time of Auditor General, the document were not there. Then afterwards, these documents have resurfaced. What disciplinary action have you taken?
Council Secretary, Treasurer, is that the scenario where you said somebody just came and threw the file in the Treasurer's office? Treasurer, please clarify. What did you do?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Chair. Yeah, let me also state that this really item, even us as management, did not please us. The auditors do make notifications well in advance before coming. And like I stated, I repeat my sentence, Chair. It was a final verification that they were making. Final verification. And much of the work had already been done before. So that being a final verification, they only took 1 day of this verification. That was a Saturday. I remember very well. Although, of course, unfortunately I was not there. Just like the principal officer himself was not there. On a Monday, that was a Saturday when the verification was done. Then when I came back to the office on Monday, I remember having called the Auditor General, but unfortunately, they were actually heading to Lusaka, I think, for compilation. It was too late anyway. It is just the unfortunate situation that existed that these documents were there. I think the numbers were not really there for human personnel. I was not there, the principal officer was not there, and it was a Saturday, it was this person receiving a funeral, but all these documents were basically there. All what was just needed is to avail them. So it was just a mere unfortunate situation that had, if probably the audit had taken some more days, like Monday into Tuesday, definitely it could have been a different story. So the timing factor also killed us in this respect. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Internal auditor.
Yeah. Chair, there is a question. He's explained it well. And the only unfortunate circumstance was just on the documents to do with the finances. These other things were provided.
Yeah, I think what the principal said at first was that this particular file, just like they indicated, and that was my query, that why this particular file was not there. So he indicated, you know, at times this file goes to Monze with the officer, and when they come, they don't really take it back. Was that your explanation?
Yes.
They could not take it to the treasurer's office, but it was with the other officers, junior officers. And then when the treasurer came, he found this particular file in his office, actually. So we don't know the officer that took it there, or whether they are the ones that went to Monze, but it was found in his office, and he quickly called the auditors, but they said, you know, it's too late. Today is Monday. No, it could be maybe it's on Friday or on Monday when that officer sneaked that. That's what I'm, from his explanation. Internal auditor, just look at your vouchers. Just down there. Who is supposed to receive that? Somebody is supposed to receive. There is a provision.
Yes, Chair. The person receiving the check is the one supposed to receive down here.
So how many out of 17 they have seen, only one has been received? Somebody indicated they has received the check, the payment. Look at the vouchers down there. But I've seen all of them, we have signed them with your red pen as internal auditor.
Chair, the internal auditor do the post-auditing. When you do the post-auditing, then it goes. When it goes there, then someone receives now. That's when he signs it down here.
But those documents to you, if somebody has not received, what does it? To you, it's okay?
No, it's not, Chair.
Yeah, because no one has received on those 17, on 16 of them. Only one, somebody received the payment. So we start speculating, you know, the check numbers, maybe they are not there, maybe the figures are different from there. Because who will take responsibility of receiving that?
The person taking the voucher to make payment.
But what I'm saying now is that you as internal auditor, you are supposed to see to it that these documents, even when they come, you're supposed to see to it that they are in correct form.
Yes, Chair.
So that these things do not arise. Because when they come, they will still ask you. And what explanation are we going to offer?
For sure, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Mine is, I thought you would say in your deliberation, you said you may not come again. I thought you'd say proudly you are not coming again. What are you assuring me?
Thank you. So, Council Secretary, what are you saying? Are you confidently telling him he should not see you?
We'll pray about that. That's our hope, Chair.
Thank you.
Yes, Chair. On the internal auditor, I think for us to receive these vouchers, which where is explained to say those were meaning the process was still on, is it? Why not bring the documents that have been finalized instead of you bringing the document that were dealt with whereas the process was on?
Internal auditor.
Chair, I was looking at the voucher, the way it is. That's why I'm agreeing, yes, that it's not complete. Because the person who's supposed to receive supposed to sign down there.
Yes, now what he's saying actually, maybe in addition, because you are supposed to take those documents back to the people that received those check numbers that are on the voucher, to go and complete, the documents. He's saying you brought something that is not complete. So the way forward, yes.
The presentation from the Council Secretary was very straight to the point that why these payment vouchers could not be availed to the auditors then. It's because everything is done in Monze. And why they go with these vouchers is to make those people who are receiving the payments to sign and accept that they've received. A very good justification. Now, when you look at these vouchers, the reason they were taken to Monze and they are not received and signed. So what would you one believe?
In addition, there
These vouchers were just done after the audit to make this committee appreciated. These were there. Because this is very critical, Chair.
Honorable
If I'm
Nyambos,
paying
I
you.
wanted you to say, no, go ahead and say the auditor signed there. Checked on top there. On top, red pen.
Yes. Internal auditors, it was checked.
All of them are it.
Now, Chair, when I'm paying to you, you have to accept payment. You don't just get a payment without accepting. But these were not done. The fears that we have, or that I have especially myself, is that you are not helping these councils. You are coming up with measures to respond to audit queries and not doing the correct thing as expected by the regulations or why you are in those offices. You know for sure, internal auditor, if you are there. You checked and someone brings, he got the check, then he doesn't sign. Where on earth? So these are not, this is not evidence that can be relied upon. Council Secretary, true or false?
That's true, Chair. Current, in fact, because of the same challenge that we have been having, the ones who sign now and received are procurement officers. When they receive the check from finance, they sign as having received it, so that at least we're able to hold them accountable if that goes missing. Because this challenge has been there, I think I've observed when I was just going through the odd payment vouchers when I reached, I said, most of these are not signed. So what we've done now is that the procurement officer, as he gets a check to take to Monzi, he will sign on received, and the voucher remains with us, so that he doesn't go with it there. So that procurement officer is the one who will be held accountable if no payment is done, because he's the last person who received that check.
That's a very good
So,
measure.
Chair, just on the same, I would want.
As we wind up, honorable members.
We want to get the right thing here. Are there now documents available for verification? These are they available, internal auditor, for verification? I submit.
Thank you. Yes. Let's combine. Let's have all the questions.
This one is to the internal auditor. What value are you adding to the entire process? Not only this, Because when I see you as an internal auditor, you check and the verification is done, you don't even see that those payment vouchers are received. Are you adding any value to this local government system as internal auditors that you can have such things? Then what are you doing in the council if you cannot check those? Thank you.
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Yes,
CS, you yourself, you've even confirmed to say you saw those wrongs. And you carry all these documents, and you are saying now they are available. When they are even incomplete, we are not even sure whether this money somebody got, or maybe this money was just taken somewhere else, because there is no one who is showing that got the money. Are those the right documents to give to the auditors for verification?
Thank you, Chair.
Secretary.
When I explained that these vouchers were just like this, I got them just to the folder, they were just the way it was. We didn't want to start editing and saying, no, let's put somebody to do this. This is the correct way they were handed over to my office. I didn't want to start making somebody start following to Monze, let's see who's there. But in the new way of doing things currently, all of them are signed, because the one who signs is a council employee who's from procurement. Once they receive the check, we make sure that they sign on received. The time that they go to Monza, we don't carry our items outside the council.
Thank you very much. That alone, that's the only brilliant thing that I've seen. That if that's the cure that you're putting in place, then you will not go anywhere. I will not point to any other house. It will be in-house. Permanent witnesses, your comments on your people. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Council Secretary and your team, we take note of your submission to the committee, but I just want to urge you that during the audit process, we have a number of days that we are with you, and through the period that we are with you, we do give you preliminary queries. And everything that accumulates into the management letter arises from the preliminary queries. So take time to respond to those preliminary queries. Even as we give you the management letter, take time to respond. When an officer is not available, communicate to the team leader, and you find someone to work with them, even as that one is not available, so that we avoid some of these things that we are discussing here. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Local government.
Thank you, Chair. CS and your team, I think what is clear is that you need to understand the managing of audit. There is never too late. As Auditor General has said, if you have contacts of the team leader, you can get in touch with them. If you fail, you can get hold of the zonal assistant director or indeed the ministry. It will always be available to guide. Then at no time should there be a vacuum. Because even when an officer is unwell or has traveled out, is cleared. And when we are clearing an officer, we need to ensure the office is left to continue to run. A key also is on budgeting. I think you have seen what you have, how you have fared. You need to improve on tracking your budget and making appropriate and timely environments so that your budget is adjusted accordingly. Chair, we submit.
Thank you very much. Controller.
Yeah.
Of
Finance, Accountant General.
Internal audit. Is it internal audit?
Accountant General's office.
Oh, Accountant General, okay.
Yeah, Gwembe, you've obviously heard the submissions that have been made in this place, and you really just have to ensure that you enhance your internal control systems, prioritize the audits as they afford you, and make sure you take note of all the policy guidance on financial management matters that are handed down to you. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. The Council Secretary and team, we want to urge you to go and put your house in order. We don't expect Gwembe to come back because we feel you can manage the system, and that will make us proud. Please go and work very hard as a team.
Yes.
With that said, I will now want to withdraw the immunity that was conferred on you at the beginning of our interactions and allow you to travel back to Gwembe as you came. Thank you very much. You
Thank
are
you,
at
Chair.
liberty to leave.
Thank you, Chair.
The Lion King.